suffers from chronic fatigue syndrome, I believe. So, wonder how they treat that.
Go to sleep. Take a nap.
You dumb bastard.
Here's the bed. Just lie down.
Yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with you?
8 hours right there on your back. Let's go.
Well, I mean, what if you can take some black beauties or
I don't know.
do some blow or something?
Sure.
Perk yourself up.
I recommend rest.
An eye-catching editorial in the Wall Street Journal today entitled, "There is no male-female wage gap." It's written by Carrie Lucas, who runs the Independent Women's Forum. Today, by the way, is what these feminist organizations got together some years ago and came up with Equal Pay Day. And this is the day that women break even with men for the last calendar year because women are said to have to work more because they get paid less to make the same thing as men in any one year. But in this editorial, the author points out that some studies have found if... Are you making faces at me?
No, I didn't think you could see me.
Because you know what? I don't call the boss. I don't email the boss when I have a grievance with you.
Yeah, I know you
You're
don't.
kind of a lithe fellow, and I will take you down. Like, I'm bigger than you are.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I'm bigger and probably meaner. Can I finish this story? Because it's fascinating.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I am fascinated by it. So there was a study done. If you compare apples to oranges, men to women in
we
similar
wouldn't.
jobs. What?
We wouldn't do that, but go ahead.
Well, I am doing it right now as I speak.
Okay.
And if you compare, there was a study done where you took childless urban workers who were single, and women earned an average of 8% more than their male counterparts. So there.
I'll be darned.
How is that not fascinating?
No, it's great. So.
I'm just glad you didn't call me fat. You
Well, you're
told
not
Warner
fat.
he looked big.
I just the camera adds, and apparently in Warner's
No,
case,
you know
about
what it is?
80 pounds.
No, you know what it is? It's because he's wearing white.
Yes.
And white reflects light rather than absorbs it. The very reason that you will never, ever see me in any light color.
Okay.
That and the fact that I'm the devil's spawn and I have to wear black.
It is Congressman Darrell Issa. Father Johnathan Mohr serves as a news analyst for the Fox News Channel, where he offers ethical, social, and religious commentary to news stories and so on. He also serves as the parochial vicar, is that the way you pronounce that?
Yep, that's pretty good, Imus.
At the historic St. Patrick's Old Cathedral in New York City. His new book is called God Wants You Happy. It's published by Harper. Please welcome to the program, Father Johnathan Morris. Good morning, Father Morris.
Another thing on the curriculum vitae is that I'm a sadomasochist for wanting to come back to Dagen Imus's show.
Why?
It's like going into the lion's den.
What have I done? We've done nothing but be nice to you.
Well,
which we wouldn't push our luck, because why would I be? I would be like being mean to Jesus. We wouldn't do that. So
what was it? She Left Me for Jesus was the first one. I'm ready for AC/DC, Highway to Hell.
No, Sympathy for the Devil. We didn't get time to play that. No, it's a tongue-in-cheek song from my friend Hayes Carl.
I also learned this morning how Don Imus reads books. He looked at the cover, he looked at the back, and he flipped through looking for pictures.
I looked to see who it was dedicated to. You were going to dedicate it to your parents, but apparently they lost out, and you dedicated it instead to us, the reader. So how do you know God wants us to be happy?
You know, on a serious note, I'm confident of it because I've experienced it in my own life, and I've seen it in so many other people's lives. And I think the basis for that is a belief not in God the cop who's trying to get us when we do something wrong, or even God like the insurance plan, right? Life insurance plan that we just try to do as best we can just to make it into heaven, but rather God who is a friend, who's a father, who we can have a relationship with, and he created us out of love. And so if he created us out of love, he wants us to be happy, and that's why we have that restless soul until, I believe, that soul, as St. Augustine said, rests in him.
I wonder what God defines as happy.
I don't think he gets into definitions.
Oh.
That's what we do.
I mean, but if he wants us to be happy, what does that mean?
You know, I think it's, first of all, it's a great question. It's not just pleasure. It's not just having our senses, going at full throttle, but rather it's a profound peace. A profound peace with who we are and why we're here. And peace also with each other. There's a great definition of peace from a moral theology point of view or an ethics point of view, that peace is not just an absence of war or an absence of conflict, but rather it's when things are ordered. And I think in our lives as well, when things are ordered, there's profound peace. And I think that's the type of genuine happiness that God wants for us.
So many people are tormented about a variety of things, which is why you have rampant alcoholism and drug abuse and depression and stuff. I mean, look what the pharmaceutical industry makes billions of dollars selling stuff to try to make people happy.
Exactly. And what I try to do in this book is take
that was a good answer you gave.
I'm gonna
I mean, it resonates at least with me. So.
Okay. Good. Well, what I try to do in this book is lay out a path forward for people not to give into the whole self-help industry that I am the center of my own universe, that I am the center of my own happiness.
Oh, wait a minute.
But rather, you're not. You are?
Oh, that's okay. Just kidding. I'm kidding, Father.
Okay. But rather that we can find a certain amount of happiness in getting things in order, as I said, but then we need the grace of God. We need blessing. And so we have, on the one hand, positive self-help, right? Positive self-help, using the mechanisms that God has already given to us of positive thinking, of a clear conscience. So many things that we can say, we can get this thing right on our own because God has given that to us, those mechanisms, but then we need something else. And so I lay out in the second half what that something else would be.
We'll get to that in a second, but there are things, and it's like an AA meeting. You go to an AA meeting. You ever been to one of those? Or?
I have, yeah.
Okay. So, you go.
An open AA meeting,
Okay.
Okay.
So I wasn't suggesting you were drunk or anything. So
clarifying.
Anyway, but I've been to many of them. And here's why a number of reasons they're great. And it's because you share your experience, but no one passes judgment on you. So, and in doing so, in telling people how you feel about yourself and about things that you've done and so on, it's a way to regain if you've lost your self-esteem. And then so when I talk about this and talking to you about this book, I look at it as an AA meeting, and I can relate my experience. And it's supposed to be about a question. I mean, most of the time I want to talk about myself because I'm self-absorbed, but not in this instance. Which brings me to the following. You can make yourself feel good by not abusing your body. I've done that. So, I mean, by stopping drinking, by not doing drugs, by eating much healthier. You can make yourself happy or feel good about yourself by helping other people, which wasn't a conscious effort on my part, but just got led into it with these kids with cancer I've been doing for years. So my question is that something that did God make me do that, or what happened?
It's funny that you bring up AA and you relate it to these two things, because in the first part of the book, I actually reduced the 12 steps down to 6 steps, because certainly 12 steps are for wonderful for the whole program. But I think no matter whether have gone through addictions or not, we're all addicted to what I would say addicted to sin, addicted to bad habits of self-centeredness, as you brought out, or whatever it is. And we need to just do the things that we ought to do. Like we know so much of the things we ought to do. We should stop getting drunk. We should stop all of these things that you mentioned. And then the second step is then I should start living for other people. Right? And I think that definitely is part of God's plan. My favorite character in the Bible besides Jesus is a guy named John the Baptist. Remember, he was the one who wore camel's hair and ate wild honey, kind of a wild guy. And he would go out into the desert, and this is, in preparation for Jesus coming, and he said, make straight the path. In other words, what he was saying is, do what you know you have to do. Just do it. He was saying that, just do it. Just do it. That's the best way to get ready, so to speak, for the second part, which is God's grace. So yes, that first part of doing what we know we ought to do and then start living for others, as you mentioned, is a preparation, I think, for a whole second part. And that is when we start living faith, hope, and love on a profound daily level.
But that also doesn't mean, I think some people think it means, maybe I do or others, but I don't. That means that you can't, go to sporting events or like hot babes or drink beer, but you can do all that. So,
well, listen, I don't want to. You say do all that. I almost said absolutely because I don't know what you mean by all that.
Well, I don't mean anything that's.
One of my favorite songs, that's number 5, was the Michigan Wolverines fight song.
Yeah.
That's sports.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
So I think all this. So I think a well-rounded, moderate life is healthy. We used to have a guy on who's a priest, Father Tom Hartman, who unfortunately is suffering from Parkinson's.
What a great guy!
Just a saint, really. And I used to ask him. He should be a rabbi with him, and Rabbi Mark Gelman.
The God Squad.
Good guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I used to have him on for years, and I couldn't understand. I still don't understand why, for example, people in Japan or people in Darfur or people in the Ivory Coast or North Korea or China or just you could. Why does God allow stuff like that to happen?
I think
it's a fundamental.
You said it well. Why does God allow it? It's not God doing it. He's not dropping rocks in our head, right?
In my simplistic mind, I keep thinking that God can just, fix it.
I think he can. But at the same time, he's given us human life, okay? We're hoping that there's a heaven, and I believe that there is, and where those things are going to be fixed. But here and now, in this human life, imagine if God intervened at every single step of the way. This wouldn't be human life. This wouldn't be the ability to make a bad decision, the ability to hate, the ability to punch somebody, the ability, all those are terrible things if they happen. But what a beautiful thing to be able to say, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to do the right thing. And that's called love. And I think God loved us so much that he created us with an ability to freely choose to love. And that's why we can enter into relationship with him. And that's why we have the wonderful thing that's called human life. 95% of our suffering is because of bad choices, my choices or other people's choices. 95% of our suffering. The rest of it, physical ills and tornadoes and tsunamis, I think that's going to be taken care of in heaven. Until we get there, we've got an unbelievable opportunity to live a great life, a balanced life, like you said.
I got so caught up in this conversation, we're out of time. It's ridiculous. In fact, I've gone way over. Can you hang around a little bit?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, 10 till the hour. I was going to we'll talk a little bit when we come back on the air. Well, 5, but about people suffering, 95% of the time being their own fault, but that's not the case for tens of millions of people who are caught in these situations, like Africa, like the Ivory Coast, like Darfur, like China. I mean, or like the Jews in the Holocaust.
But I would say like 95% of every individual suffering, like just say like what is wrong with my life, right? Like what has really made me suffer in my life. The deepest suffering is what we could call moral suffering. In other words, when there's relationship problems, when we've done something we shouldn't have done, and we're paying the consequences for that, when we've made bad choices. Like that's the deep, significant suffering. And of course,
unless you're lucky enough to be a sociopath, no.
Yeah, I guess they don't feel pain, right?
No, I'm reading a book now that's embargoed, but it's by this woman from the New York Times. I can't remember her name. I've been reading it last night about Bernie Madoff, and it's a definitive account of what happened there, and it's really how he deluded himself into thinking that somehow it was all going to work out, and he was doing it. He didn't think of himself as a bad guy, and still doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. What was he? He's offering to give business ethics courses in his prison cell or something like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a sign of
that's a sign of
something.
Yeah.
He says he's been approached by Harvard and Northwestern. Neither university says we've approached him, however. So he's still deluding him.
Did I ever ask you this? Do you think you have to...
Ladies and gentlemen, Imus in the morning.
It's 5 minutes after the hour here in the Imus Morning program. Jay Mohr is coming out. I'd like to apologize to all the affiliates around the country because I was talking to Father Johnathan Morris, and I forgot what... I didn't know what time it was. It was an interesting guy, so interesting book. So,
Fascinating.
Book is called God Wants You to Be Happy. You did mention, we talked a little bit about it. Mostly people are unhappy or because they bring it on themselves and misery and so on. But I pointed out that there are, as you obviously aware, hundreds of millions of people around the world who are victims, as my friend Delbert McClinton says, of life circumstances and got caught up in having to be born in the wrong place, wrong time, So.
At the same, I was thinking as you're bringing that up again now, one of I think God's plans for our happiness and that level of the sickness and all of that is developing our minds. Think of what doctors have done for us, right? Through the development of our God-given brains, our God-given knowledge. And so, in other words, it's very easy to blame things on God. And I think he's given us so many ways forward from a physical point of view of that type of happiness, but also from a spiritual point of view on a spiritual level. And that's what I try to give people a way forward in this book, especially on the spiritual level.
Do you ever doubt the existence, God? Can I talk of God?
I don't.
Did you ever?
It doesn't mean that I have physical evidence to prove that he exists, but I experience God in my life. And I think when we have an open heart and open mind, God reveals himself to us in different ways. And no, I've never doubted.
Yeah. Lance Mohr is a brilliant writer. Used to write for Time Magazine, essays. Wrote a book on evil. And I'm always surprised, like Charles was doing the news about these people are finding these dead bodies they're finding. I'm always surprised at evil. I'm always surprised when people kill other people. I'm not naive.
It's an amazing thing that we have the ability to use that gift of free will to do terrible, terrible things or to do wonderful things. And to think if God is all-knowing that he would actually allow that to happen, I think it's because one act of love is better than all of the terrible things combined. One act of love. And I think God has a plan, a second plan, a third plan, plan A, B, and C to bring us to that happiness.
Father Johnathan Morris now has to go appear on Fox and Fiends.
What's that?
Fox and Friends.
Oh, okay.
They won't be anywhere near as interested in your book as I am. But
you asked the best questions.
But good luck.
You
anyway.
asked the best questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure talking.
You're welcome. God wants you happy by this morning, and see if that's right. So,
yeah.
So it's a pretty good plan here. So, and Father Morris has good answers. So, not what I would expect. What did you find out about Richard Holbrook?
That he's dead. He's dead. Jesus, for sakes. He's dead. He's not going to negotiate anything else ever. Okay? The poor man died. He had some sort of an aorta problem. He had a tear in his aorta, and he had 21 hours of surgery because of it on Saturday, and he didn't make it. Okay? He died. He was in very critical condition from the time he emerged from the damn operating theater, and he didn't get better. He got worse. He got dead. Okay?
I understand that. I just wondered.
And there's not a word about whether he had a history of heart difficulty.
That was my question. Thank you.
Mike. Yeah.
Okay. All right, time for some emails now at 24 after the hour.
Oh,
With
my
that,
God.
here's Carly. Morning, Carly.
Don't reveal anything. Oh, my God.
Well, I know.
I mean, who cares? What's the big deal?
Because we have to sign these agreements when they embargo these books, and we can't.
Big secret. Ooh.
Play by the rules.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
Somebody tells me something off the record, I keep it off the record.
Damn straight.
All right, Carly, what do you have?
All right, this first one is from Schneider from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
Schneider says, "Dear Lord Imus, turn your own mic off. By the time you got done with poor Carol Higgins Clark, she was sweating like a fat kid on Cannibal Island. She is made of strong stuff if she didn't hit the bar after your interview."
Really? Oh, she was fine. In fact, Carol Higgins Clark was good yesterday because she gets the program. You know?
She was funny.
Reverend Jesse Jackson here with us. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
I'm good, Imus.
And Gary Busey. Gary, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, God.
Why,
I'm hearing voices.
Yeah.
Hear people laughing.
One more, darling.
All right. This next one. Oh my God. This next one is from Carlo from Tampa.
Okay.
Carlo says, Warner needs to stop sucking up to Tiger.
What?
The new generation is just as good as he was in his prime, and they lead much more wholesome lives. I didn't care who won as long as it wasn't Tiger.
Well, first of all, Warner doesn't suck up to Tiger. That's one.
Right.
And these new guys are not as good as Tiger was when he was in his prime. Are they, Warner?
Not yet, but
No.
they haven't proven it yet.
Oh, no. I mean, nobody's. And Tiger's probably, even though I said he would never win another tournament,
Yeah.
I suspect he might. So.
Probably so.
All right, Carly, thank you. Time for to call Kevin now and complain, like little sissy boy Charlie did.
Fight my own battles, my man. You know that, Pops.
Gary Busey's here. Why are you here?
I'm here to see you.
What?
I'm here to see you.
About what?
I don't know. I was invited. I thought.
Well, Jay Moore's coming up.
Jay Mohr.
What?
Jay Mohr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who he is?
Jay Mohr. Yes, a comic.
Yeah, pretty good one.
Yeah, he's real good. Real.
What?
He's a real good comic. Yeah. Jay. Yeah. Jay.
He's next. And we'll get back to you later.
All right. Yeah. That sounds good.
What?
Anybody want a piece of cheese?
Here's one of Jay's 5 favorite songs. 3 till the hour here in the Imus Wine program. Please welcome to the program now for his second visit in less than a week. Jay Mohr, who...
Yes. All right.
Good morning, Mr. Mohr.
I love that guy.
You, I'm thinking, man, you got nothing to do.
Nothing to do. When
And
you're
you
a
were
comic, you work, an hour a night.
Right.
Tonight I'm at Gotham Comedy Club, which is why I try to ride your coattails to sell tickets in Chelsea, because
Sure.
I know gay 30-year-olds is your prime demographic. You asked me a question right before we came on. Don asks you all the interesting stuff during commercials when everybody else is working, and then you give him the answer, and he goes, "What?"
Well, I can't hear one. I mean, because of these ear monitors. Did you ever have medical tests performed where you couldn't eat or drink anything?
Yes, I had a colonoscopy because I turned 40 and I wanted to treat myself, and I couldn't eat or drink anything. And that's an amazing thing. The colonoscopy. Have you guys had it done?
Absolutely.
You have to do it. A colonoscopy. For those guys out there that don't know what it is, it's pretty much 90% ugh and then 10% ooh.
No. Where's the 10%? I didn't get that.
Well, you're like a ranch man. You're like an old salt of the earth guy.
Yeah,
You're Andrew Jackson, and we're just all Indians looking
Right.
for a place to be settled by you.
But I never followed those instructions.
That's great. Why not? Why would you not? Why would you eschew your doctor's advice?
Because I think they exaggerate the requirement.
That leads to what we were talking about last week. America's a big fat country. Like, you have to tell people don't eat or drink anything, thinking they'll have like only 1 liter of soda in that night, right?
Well, so I get up. So every colonoscopy I've ever had, I haven't had one in years now because I was, whatever. I don't have to have one.
Because you don't enjoy that 10%. I can't wait to go back and get mine again.
Okay. But I get up and have a cup of espresso, and it's at 4 o'clock in the morning, and nobody's ever said, Dr. Ira Jacobson, right? You've never says anything.
He never said, like, we tried to do your colonoscopy, but there's just coffee in there. We couldn't do it.
Yeah. So it's never happened. So.
I saw on your people that watch the show, they maybe don't know, on the outside of your building, there's a rolling headline ticker, and Mitt Romney is forming an exploratory committee to decide. What the hell? Why can't anyone have balls and say, you know what? President 2012, the Mormon, count me in. I'm kicking ass. Coming for you, Hussein. I'm the man. Like, what's the exploratory committee to see if you're going to get freaking votes? You're probably going to tap out around 15%, Mitt. We all know that. I mean, what is the exploratory? Like, It would be. I like Mitt Romney. I think he's super cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's a Mormon, I love the Mormons. It's all about family. What's not to like?
Yeah.
I wish Mitt Romney at a press conference said, I just want to, like if he was in the Wu-Tang Clan and he just came out and says, yo, the new Mitt Romney drops 2012. Barack, holla, son. Word. Peace. I'd put my vote in now. And instead, it's like an exploratory committee. I got to fix my hair. I got to get a colonoscopy, see if there's any independents back there. Because that's where they hang out. The independents. An exploratory committee. Be a man. You're perfect for the job. He says Barack Obama's plans have failed us. I don't think any plan. It's not a freaking car battery. You got to give it a little while to work.
Yeah.
Poor Obama. Have you seen photos of this guy?
Yeah.
Aging. He's not black or white. He's gray.
Yeah.
He's just a gray. He looks so old. He looks like one of Fred Sanford's friends. It's like Rollo, Grady, and Obama. Hey, look, you big dummy. I think Obama's coming over. You gotta wash your ass. It's been a while since 40-year-old did a Red Fox impression on Fox Business Channel. Could you get more stuff on the screen during your program? It's like ADD television. There's the weather, the stock reports from different countries. My son's second grade class yearbook photos are going by. Jackson Mohr got 15 out of 15 on his spelling test and went 4 for 4 in the Pacific Palisades Little League. Carly's reading emails from who knows where.
Well, we don't have any.
That's all the jokes I have. We might as well just say Gotham Comedy Club tonight and tomorrow and get me out of here and wait for the lizard Daryl Issa to come up.
Glenn Beck, ever watch him?
He is the white people's Flavor Flav. He really is. Each race of people has that one person where the other races can point to and go, see? He's a bit bananas. I don't want to say anything bad about him because I want to stay off the chalkboard. But I like it. He's like a meth addict.
He's actually a nice guy, you know.
I would hope so.
Yeah. He really is. So.
Well, he kind of probably has to be. Like, if you have those views and then you were a jerk in real life, would they show you the door, or it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter in this. Like, you're a horrible person. Nobody.
I'm a what?
What did I say?
You said I was a horrible person.
I'm talking to Charles. That's what's great about Don. He's so old, you can actually fool him with stuff like, no, Grandpa. I was talking to Charles, Grandpa.
Making me cry.
You got it all wrong. I love when your hair fluctuates between Rod Stewart and Mick Taylor. Can't you hear me knocking? All right, on your window. And then we have Helmet Head over here from the Jersey Shore, the senior edition. Gotham Comedy Club tonight. I'll do my own plugs, Don. Thanks for helping out. I don't know why I just said that like Colin Quinn. Don't worry about it, Don. I come in and all of a sudden Don looks like the poster for The Lion King. Okay.
That's the line he actually did, by the way.
I know, they told me. I was mad it wasn't mine. Colin, that reprehensible genius.
He is pretty...
Oh, he's the funniest. I could watch him do
man,
anything.
I'm crying here. This is ridiculous. Like,
Maybe it's the espresso. It's making your eyes water.
I'm drinking water. I'm following the plan. I'm seeing some guy.
Wait a minute, freeze.
What?
Just save that for the best of when you go on vacation. Just Don Imus going, I'm seeing some guy. It was like a Dear Abby letter.
Don't you want to know about this?
I do.
Okay. No, I'm not going to tell you, though. So.
All right.
I'm seeing some guy up in Rhinebeck, New York. Some doctor. I have to go up there today. This is my wife's idea. So he's some holistic guy that's... Because, did you know I have cancer?
I've heard.
Yeah, so... But it's fine, so...
And he's doing...
I don't know what he does, but I can't... So I'm not supposed to drink coffee or...
I just found out my wife has your wife's cookbook in our house.
Really?
Deirdre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, that's her name.
Yeah, no, I said, she goes, I think his wife has a best-selling cookbook. And I'm like, I don't know.
Cooking for kids and cowboys.
Yeah. My wife's a big cook. Now, does your wife bake also, or just cook and bake?
She does both. She's a great cook.
And does she bake also? Because
she can.
Yeah, it's odd that you get both, because cooking is like a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and then baking is like an exact science, apparently.
But she doesn't have time to cook anymore, so somebody else does that. So.
Attaboy.
Who can't cook at all.
Really?
Oh, no. It's just,
Do you tell that person this is slop?
no, because the person's been with us for like 15 years.
That's why you keep these guys hanging around. You're just a big-hearted guy.
Yeah, she's a sweet lady, and
it's Dagen, isn't it?
No, but I come home the other day. I go home the other day, and Dad was over at Hackensack, and this woman is in the bathroom with a mop and so on, and all of the lights are off. So you can't see anything.
Right.
And she's in cleaning the bathroom, and it happens all the time. And
mopping in the dark.
Yeah, it's not funny, but it's just.
No, I think it's funny.
Yeah, it's just what she does.
I just didn't want to step on your lines. It's like a Springsteen single, "Mopping in the Dark." And do you tell her, like, sweetheart, this would be a lot easier with the gift of sight?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, maybe she's in there with a black light when you're not looking to see what disgusting things you've been doing.
No, there's no way. I don't leave any evidence. So, talking with Jay Mohr is going to be at, where are you going to be?
I'll be at the Gotham Comedy Club tonight and tomorrow, and
where is that?
Saturday. It's in Chelsea.
Oh, okay.
Where everybody's fabulous.
How? And then what are you doing?
And then I'll be at the Borgata in Atlantic City. Oh. Yes, applause from the Borgata right there. I'm hoping to get a lot of gays at my show.
Are you doing any more movies, or is that over?
Filming Suicide Kings 2. In June, which is about 10 years in the making, I guess. So I'm excited about that.
You like
Christopher
acting? No.
Walken. Christopher Walken will be back in the movie with us. Don Imus is a man who drinks espresso before colonoscopy. Oh. The doctor says, what do we have here? Is this coffee or what? I love doing acting. It's like being a pirate. You know,
you're a pretty good actor, actually. I mean, I don't know anything about it, except I'm just some schmuck who goes to the... I don't go to the movies. I wait till they get on DirecTV, which actually are good. So.
Thank you. I love it. It's the most fun thing to do because it ends. It's really like...
What do you mean?
I mean, you work for a month.
Right.
And then, you make friends with this entire transient family, and then you're done. I always want an out. Like, I couldn't do what you do. I would want to know that, maybe Thursdays I don't have to come in. I would always want that out.
Yeah.
It's hard to commit yourself. Like, this is a grind. You do this all day, and you got to hit. I don't want to freak you out, but your job is very hard, Don. It's very difficult.
No, it's not. It's fun.
Oh, all right.
So.
But what time did you get up today?
I got up at 4.
Me too. Get up, do some incline bench press. How much you bench? How much you bench? What are you putting up?
360.
360. Yeah. Boy, I like that. Steroid free, just like you guys.
I can't bench press my iPad.
You can.
Jay Mohr will be at... I won't run over this time. I had Father Johnathan Morris on. Did you see him?
Father Johnathan?
Yeah.
He ran out of here like a bat out of hell.
Was really?
Yeah, I realized the irony of my statement, but he flew out of here.
He's an interesting guy.
And I was very excited to meet him. I'm a new Catholic.
Right.
I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not, no.
Yeah, about 4 years ago I converted from...
What?
Presbyterianism to Catholicism.
Really? What's the difference?
Just more structure, more rules. I needed the structure.
Talk to Mary instead of Jesus, right?
Talked to both. Mary was the Immaculate Conception.
Right.
Jesus.
So, okay.
It's fascinating.
Well, good luck with that. So.
I like it. I like the structure. I got tired of telling people, well, I'm spiritual. I always thought that was a cop-out. Pick a lane. No. Mitt Romney. I didn't want an exploratory committee with my religion. I wanted to put my flag down someplace and say, I'm going to be at Gotham Comedy Club tonight and tomorrow.
Jay Mohr is 11 minutes till the hour. Talk to her about a bunch of stuff. Gary Busey here with us this morning. How are you?
I'm good. There's 360 ways to view an elephant.
What?
There are 360 ways to view an elephant. You put an elephant in a circle, and you look at an elephant. You move 1 degree to the right, and keep doing that. 360 ways. See, I'm living in the now. N-O-W, no other way.
Right. Well, okay. Come on.
Anybody want a piece of cheese? How you doing, brother?
Well, no, I'm fine. How you get along with Meatloaf?
I'm sorry.
Meatloaf.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like it with mashed potatoes. Oh, you mean the singer? Yeah. We had a little bit of a blow up, but it was really on him, and he was a bigger man than me, and he admitted he was in the wrong.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he's a highly emotional man. Right. Highly emotional. Okay. HER, highly emotional reprobate.
Right.
He's a her.
5 minutes till the hour here now.
Imus in the morning.
The eyes even look like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing how much you look like these various people you do.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Where'd you get the teeth?
I went to a magic store, magic costume shop downtown.
What do you ask for?
Fake teeth.
What?
Fake teeth.
Well, I know, but I mean,
they had 3 or 4. These aren't really perfect. I want to get some made. You know, real Gary Busey teeth, real big ones. You know, big chiclet white teeth.
You think this is a character is going to sustain?
As long as he's on Apprentice.
Well, that's not going to last that long.
Who knows?
Who knows what?
How long it's going to last. The character, who knows?
Who knows anything, really? So there's another reality show.
How many years you get out of Hargis?
Well, hell, a lot.
Well, it all depends. I don't know. Whatever. What?
What?
Huh? What'd you say?
LAST.
LAST.
What do you do now other than?
Well, I get up in the morning.
No. I mean, are you in movies anymore or anything?
No.
I didn't get an answer out of what you're doing lately. Other than, I mean, I know you're on the dopey Trump deal, but
it takes up a lot of time.
Pardon me?
It takes up a lot of time.
It's already been a film, right?
Well, we don't know who won.
Well, okay.
That's live.
It's okay. So.
Well, you know who wins?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Do you think you'll win?
Well, that's my intention.
All right. Who else is on the show?
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
John Ridge. Star Jones. Marley Matlin.
Yeah.
Huh?
What happened to you?
I was just talking about Celebrity Apprentice.
Pardon me?
I just talked about Celebrity Apprentice.
No, but you just stopped talking. You're kind of dazed.
Donald Trump's on it. His daughter's on it. His Donald Trump Jr.'s on it.
I like him. 6 after the hour. I heard the
Meatloaf is on it.
What?
Meatloaf.
Yeah. Here's Charles with the news. By the Burke Rehabilitation Hospital, Gary Busey with us this morning. So is Reverend Jesse Jackson. Was the Buddy Holly story the most famous thing you've done? Or?
Yeah. I was in Buddy Holly story.
That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm working on the Buddy Hackett story now.
What?
I'm working on the Buddy Hackett story now. Buddy Hackett's out.
So the Buddy Holly story was back in the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was BMA.
What?
BMA before motorcycle accident. That's how I measure my life, before and after.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What happened? That motorcycle thing did some damage, doesn't it?
Yeah, I had to get a new front spoke, a couple of wheels. Kind of told it. Kind of virtually unrideable after it was over.
It did some damage to you as well, wouldn't you think, or no?
No. I'm as good as ever.
All right. This portion out.